Hi everybody, I have notebook sample number 12 here. We are doing waste gathering here. What do you think of this amazing design? It was really hard to sew because I think we gathered too much fabric, to be honest with you. It's very ruchy here, and I think my muslin is just a little bit too structured to go with it. I would really like to take this pattern and sew it up with chiffon or something more lightweight and flowy, and I bet it would probably look a little bit more flattering. But this is the finished project. And I would love to hear about what you would imagine the pattern pieces look like. I have them here to actually show you what the finished ones will look like. We'll start with our princess seam, the pattern that we've actually drafted a couple modules ago. And we take it and extend it. This still looks like the princess seam, but it gets sewn to the back princess, which is much shorter. Look at those side seams. So you have had practice gathering. We'll have practice again gathering as well. This is on the fold. And really it's the gathers that give us this amazing ruching detail here. And to draft the pattern, it's really just a matter of extending it so it's much longer than the one it gets sewn to. Okay, so let's have a shot at it. Notebook sample number 12, we are doing fullness on the princess line. Here's an illustration of the design we are attempting to achieve. Take a minute. Can you draw what your finished pattern pieces would look like? These are gathers, they're not drawstrings, so ignore the bows. We've already drafted gathers before, so you've had practice sewing them up. So based on your experience, what do you think this front pattern piece is going to look like? Now the back, they don't show the back, but you can see it's not gathered at the back. So our back pattern piece, we're actually not going to alter it. We're only going to add gathers to the front. So what does that look like? Again, you need to actually pull out your princess pattern that you've already previously drafted, and you're going to be using the front two pieces for this. For the back, you can use the princess back, or you're welcome to just use the basic sloper back as well. We won't be manipulating the back piece, we'll just be using it to sew to the front. So it's up to you which style you would rather sew, whether it's 2 darts or the princess seam. It's up to you. Either one works for me, but keep it handy because you'll have to cut it out of the muslin and sew it up to the front. Okay, so I recommend tracing this guy so you don't ruin your princess pattern. You can use it again. Okay, now we are ready for figure 1. So figure 1 tells us to draw slash lines where the gathers indicate, number each section, and cut it from the paper. So we're going to draw 3 lines, which will make 4 spaces. Okay, and they don't tell us inches or anything. They just say kind of estimate. So to me, it looks like our first one's right here. And I'm gonna draw this line squared off from my grain line. So my ruler is aligned on my grain line, and that makes it squared off. So there's one. Maybe I'll make, let's see here, them all an inch apart. It doesn't say how much. I could change it later. You know what, maybe this last one, yeah, actually, okay, it kind of works. I did, oh, you know, as long as it's do 3. Erase that one. Okay, and then I'm supposed to write 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Maybe I just copy it and then use my grain line to square off. So my grain line is lined up so I can square off. Okay. Okay. Figure 2 and 3. We're gonna draw grain guides on paper. Okay, let me get some paper. So I'm gonna draw a grain line on it. So I'm just lining up my ruler, the middle of the ruler to the fold line so that my line will be parallel to the fold. That's a nice long straight line. And that's my grain line, or my guideline, sorry. Okay. Now it wants me to cut through my slash lines, separating my pattern. So it wants me to do one on the front, and I need another paper to also do on the side. So let me go grab another paper. So, it can just be one layer. It doesn't need to be doubled. So I mean, the center front, the side one, we're gonna cut 2, but the front's gonna be cut in the fold. So they wanted you to fold your paper for the front, and then the side, we'll just say cut 2 on our pattern. So I'm gonna draw a guideline. Nice long straight line. Okay, that will be my guide. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna cut them apart. Here we are. Let's start with the front. Cutting my style lines I drew. There we are. And once you spread equally using the couple ratio options they gave us. Okay, so if we do the ratio of 1 to 1.5, this guy is, oh gosh, 1 inch, right? He's 1 inch wide. So 1.5 times 1 inch equals 1.5. So maybe this space is 1.5 inches. So if I go right here, that's 1.5, and then I can put this guy right here. If I did it times 2, it would be 2 inches difference. But I'm choosing the ratio 1 to 1.5, so I'm just gonna times it by 1.5. You do have the option to times it by 2. You have the option to times it by whatever you want. If it's bigger, you're just gonna have more scrunch and more gathers in your finished design. You know, yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna make this one also 1.5. I'm gonna kind of put a little line, and that's where I'm gonna place my next piece. Just gonna tape it there. And I'll add another 1.5 inch spacing. Let's clean up this curve. Like this. There we are. Oops. Okay. Actually, they just do a straight line, don't they? So some of it gets a little bit shaved off, so that way it's a nice straight line. Okay, we are ready for seam allowance on this guy. Okay, we're ready. Ready for our test fit with, we'll have to sew to our back pieces, so I'll have to get seam allowance on these guys as well. Again, you can test fit sew it to this or to this, whichever one's fine by me. Just make sure you add your seam allowance.